This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Nope, that's not right. Good morning, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Tim Daniel. I am a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. I've been podcasting about this team for 5 years at publications such as Late Night Reds and the Riverfront. And I want to thank you all for joining me, whether it's you are late at night on the West Coast or early in the morning here on the East Coast, as we discuss the Cincinnati Reds pulling off a 4-1 win over the Los Angeles Angels for tonight on their game. If you are just checking me out for the first time, as you guys can tell, I am out of it. Welcome. We are so glad to have you here. Please be sure to hit that notification button so you can not only get my show after each and every Reds game, but you can get Jeff Carr and Stephen Offenbaker Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com and get started today. It's where you can get your football bets in for the upcoming season. On this morning's, that sounds funny to say, show, the Reds just played a well-rounded game. They just took care of business in all three levels and got that West Coast road trip started the exact way we wanted it to. I better see West Coast Robin here in the live chat at some point here. Carter, thanks for staying up, man. I appreciate it. I had a lot of caffeine today, so just to keep us going. Brian Hayes making a whole lot of plays tonight, both defensively, obviously, and one really huge offensive play at the end of the game as well, which leads to our final segment where we'll discuss triples on triples on triples tonight. The Reds were rounding the bases a whole lot tonight. 4 extra base hits in particular. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. And of course, for those of us who are still up, like Carter, I'm going to listen to you, my everydayers, and hear what you guys have to say as well. We got a fun show here today. Let's get right to it.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It's a beautiful day in Cincinnati, right? The Reds win, the Bengals win, whatever you want to call preseason football. But the Reds played tonight, unlike the Bengals, well-rounded, way to get to it kind of game, right? So Brady Singer is awesome I shouldn't say awesome. Made it a little scary there at the beginning, but gets through it with 6 innings of 1-run ball and 4 strikeouts. Connor Phillips comes in, takes care of business as well. And then Luis May gets a little freaky scary there, and Scott Barlow wraps it up. But even with that being said, we got things going on where we have 4 extra base hits tonight, with Austin Hayes hitting a triple, Elly hitting a triple, and Brian Hayes hitting a triple, and Gavin Lux getting a start with that 2-run shot in the first inning as well. That was pretty nice to see. We have 11 hits as a team tonight. That's humongous. Defense tonight, extremely solid. And pitching took care of things. So the Reds in a game like this, where they just played well-rounded baseball, they didn't beat themselves like we saw in those first 2 games in that Brewers series. They just went out there and did their thing and rolled with it. And it was just nice. You know, it's a late baseball game for us here on the East Coast, obviously. We're all kind of dragging along there, just trying to get through the night. And the Reds didn't give us anything to panic about. When things got interesting, they found a way to put it away. I mean, they really needed that extra add-on run. They got up to the Hayes triple, and they found a way to bring him in. And I feel like when they have games like this, where everything just executes, they're really hard to beat, right? And I know a lot of people are going to come in here, and I always have the naysayers here, and they're going to say, well, they went 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 on base tonight. Yes, they did. But they did enough to win. And I think right now, at this point in the year, when they're going on the West Coast, where in years past we've seen Red seasons fall apart on West Coast road trips, we will absolutely take this. Absolutely take this. It was just so fun to watch, just kind of the all-around game they played tonight. And I feel like it was kind of one of those games where everyone had a good at-bat at some point in the game. Obviously Friedel starts the game off with a hit, gets the walk later. Gavin Lux obviously has the homer. Elly has the triple. Austin Hayes has a triple. Novi Marte has 2 hits. Spencer Steer gets a hit. Jose Trevino has a huge at-bat. And Brian Hayes obviously has a triple. And even Matt McClain has that sac fly, where I know McClain didn't register a hit today, but the sac fly ended up being huge as an add-on run as well. So just one of those days where the Reds probably needed a little bit of everyone to come through, and everyone basically contributed to the win except for I don't want to say Luis May didn't contribute to the win because he did get 2 big outs. But that's where the game got obviously interesting. And shout out Scott Barlow coming in, being ready to go, getting 4 strikeouts tonight. So all around big game for the Redlegs, much needed win to keep this thing going. Now, a mini win streak going. And most importantly, gaining ground. So the Cubs obviously lost today to the Brewers 7-0. That second game ended up being postponed. So there was that. And then the Mets were off today. So the Reds are now sitting at just a game behind the Mets for that third wild card spot. And now are just 4 games back on the Cubs. So big day for the Reds, all around, much needed win. Love to see it. And like Will says here, yes, indeed, still not swept. So the Reds at least can hang their hands on that. And you probably, realistically, on paper, I make sure I emphasize on paper because we know how these things can go. Probably like the Reds pitching matchups the next couple days. Kikuchi will be interesting on Wednesday. But, obviously, specifically tomorrow, I was joking with Jeff and Steve in our group text that if I were the Reds, I would call Joey Votto tomorrow and sign him for a 1-day deal to play against Kyle Hendricks, his old pal, because those who know what that matchup was like. So, but yeah, all joking aside, huge win for the Reds. Absolutely take it. And the new guy, Brian Hayes, keeps doing amazing things for this team. We're going to talk about the plays he made tonight and more right after this. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up and college football isn't far behind. Whether you got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. I'm very excited for this upcoming season. I got Joe Burrow over touchdowns, Joe Burrow over yards, and Jamar Chase over yards as well. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to $2,000 times your money. I've used PrizePicks for a few seasons now, and I love how simple it is. I can get a lineup in before my coffee finishes brewing. The flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you still doubled my money. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB. Get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks. Run your game. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So for me, I'm taking my flyer on Joe Burrow to be our MVP this year. I feel like destiny is calling for it. I'm calling the Cincinnati Bengals against my goodwill to be the Super Bowl champion this year, because I don't know, they're going to have to score like 75 points to win games, and I feel like they're going to be able to do it. Or parlay your division winner dark horses. I got the Buccaneers, I got the Bengals, and I'm feeling the Dallas Cowboys. You probably don't want to take my advice on that. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Want to give a shout out to our everydayers here on the Postcast who are staying up with me tonight. It's like late night Reds from the old days all over again. Go check out Late Night Reds sometime if you get a chance. My good friends Skylar Webker and Ben Brown over there doing awesome things with Riverfront Cincy. Please be sure as always to hit that notification button if you want to be an everydayer like my crew here, like Lonnie, like Will, like Carter. You guys are my everydayers, and I love seeing you here on the show each and every night. You can also get Jeff Carr and Stephen Offenbaker Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. If you can't follow along here on YouTube, please be sure to hit your podcast app of choice. We are on all of them. And after you're done listening to us, go check out Locked On MLB Daily. They watch every single game, so you don't have to. Let's get to the turning point tonight's game, shall we?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It's not often when you look at a scorebook, you see 1, 5, 3 for a putout, but that's what we got tonight with Brian Hayes making one hell of a play. And that was like just the second one. He had 3 of those tonight you can make a case for. So the first one, obviously the ball 105 off the bat. He knocks it in the air and grabs it real quick and gets it to McLean and covering the second in time for him to flip the steer for the double play. And then, so he gets the ball. He bounces off Brady Singer's leg, and he just has his heads up, quickness, go out there, grab the ball, get the throw in. It was awesome. And then he hits a triple. And now I know someone's going to come in here and be like, well, Rengifo misplayed the ball. Yes, he did. But he hit that ball pretty damn hard. 103.5 off the bat. I know that I've talked about Ke'Bryan Hayes a whole lot since he became a Red. And I know Jeff Carr and I have both kind of been singing his praises a lot. But it's hard to be upset with anything he's done since he's been a Red leg, right? I mean, he's hit the ball well. He's, obviously playing incredible defense. He's going to go ahead and get the Gold Glove. I don't see it being taken from him this year. He would have won it with the Pirates too if he was still there. Thank God he's not, for his sake and for our sake. But the fact that they're just getting just this excellent play from him, and I'm not saying that he's going to all of a sudden be this world-class hitter, but I don't think he's going to have an 1,000 OPS his whole tenure with the Reds by any means. But I will say that that 391 on base percentage the last 7 games is looking solid. And if he hits like that 704 OPS level for the Reds, with the defense they're getting from him, where he's going to be hitting in the order, it's perfectly fine. It's absolutely perfectly fine. He's been really, really awesome for this team. And obviously, like I said, he's debatably the best defensive player in baseball. I think you have a pretty solid argument. But also, he's without a shadow of a doubt the best third baseman in baseball defensively. So, and I'm glad he's on our team. And I'll never forget when the trade happened and everyone was mad they gave up Sammy Stafora for Ke'Bryan Hayes. And I would say that was worth it 10 times out of 10. I would do it again. And then William Wright comes in here and says, you said the Cubs lost to the Birds, but notice the Padres lost their 4th straight game, meaning they lost to the Giants, and maybe they'll fall a bit in the wildcard standings too. That's correct. You're absolutely right, Will. I didn't even think about that. Will Williams asked, does this mean Scott Barlow should be the closer over Emilio Pagan? I don't know. Will, I'm the worst person to talk about closers because I hate the term very much. I've been very, very vocal on that. People are probably sick of that spiel. But at this point, I'm okay, whoever it is, as long as they're getting the outs. And Emilio Pagan, I don't know. He probably just pitched, between those 3, Pagan, Barlow, and Santillan, they probably pitched way more than they thought they were going to this year. So it could be a revolving door. They could do the 99 thing with Williamson, Sullivan, and Graves. If they want to do that with this team for a little bit, that's fine by me. I don't have it, but I do know that a lot of people were talking. I saw it shared on X on social media. The Angels broadcasters just just couldn't believe what Ke'Bryan Hayes was doing defensively against them. That was kind of fun to listen to. So if you get a chance and haven't heard it yet, please be sure to go ahead and look up the audio on that because that was awesome as well. And tonight the Reds had some huge hits, including that Ke'Bryan Hayes triple. We're going to get to that too. But first, let's get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I think I'm going to roll with Ke'Bryan Hayes because I think those outs were humongous. And also the triple, which ended up being the add-on run that they really needed after Matt McClain brought him in on a sac fly. So Ke'Bryan Hayes, the vacuum cleaner, is because Stone Cold Sesso says right here, what? Stone Cold Sesso, what? I love it. All right. So tonight the Reds had some huge hits. I know they didn't have the best game overall, particularly with runners in scoring position, but they found a way to make hits count tonight. And I think that's the thing that's most important. So they had 11 as a team. I mean, that's great. You'll take that every night, right? And you had 3 guys who had two or more hits tonight, between Lux, Hayes, and Marte. Marte, 9-game hit streak right now. Batting average is right around, it's at 299, OPS 840. Anyone have that prediction at the beginning of the year? Probably not. But Austin Hayes, who the last couple days seems like he's kind of finding his bat again, probably just took me just like bad mouthing him for a week. So if that's what it took, you're welcome, Austin. I'm glad that we're going to get this from you the rest of the year. Fingers crossed. And that was the one that they didn't bring him in. And, obviously you're kind of a little anxious when that happens. And then Elly gets that triple in the next inning to start the inning and ends up scoring a run. Elly's lone hit of the day, going 1 for 5 with that triple and 2 strikeouts. But I think feels like he's, he looked good running the bases there. Looked really good. And then, of course, keep Ryan's triple where it goes over Rengifo's head and leads that run as well. Just, big hits they needed. And obviously, Gavin Lux starting the day off with a homer. Humongous as well. So seeing the Reds get really big hits and really big moments, it's kind of been the thing they've been missing this year. I know there's been a lot of ups and downs as far as like the bullpen and basically anything but the rotation. So seeing them get the hits they were getting tonight and making them count really came through in the clutch. They're now 6 games over 500 again, and you probably really like what tomorrow looks like on paper, like I said. So hopefully we're talking about, another big series win here. That would be a lot of fun. That'd be much needed. And I don't know. Anyone else still get nervous, even though he hasn't been himself for a few years when Mike Trout comes up and the game's close? Still get a little anxious there. No, he had an okay game. 1 for 3 with a walk and a hit. Thankfully didn't come back to hurt him, but one of my favorite players of all time. So glad the Reds were able to not have him beat them tonight. But with that being said, we will go ahead and wrap this one up as the Reds are winners tonight, 4-1 in the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim's beautiful stadium. The Reds have 4 runs on 11 hits, no errors. The Angels have 1 run on 8 hits, no errors. Your winning pitcher tonight is Brady Singer. He is 11-9. I barely even talked about him tonight. He was pretty darn good. Your losing pitcher tonight is Victor Medeiros. That's his first loss of the year. And Scott Barlow picks up his first career save as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. And now the Reds are back at it tomorrow with a chance to clinch the series at Angel Stadium as Hunter Green takes the hill going against Kyle Hendricks. Hunter Green is 5-3 with a 247. Kyle Hendricks 6-8 with a 488. First pitch is at 9:38. So we're looking at another late night like this. Everyone, I can't tell you how cool it is and how much it means to me that you all stayed up through this game and came here and still hung out with me. For all of us East Coasters, for the West Coasters like Will out there, I know I can always count on you to be here. And I think Pierre's also in the mountain area time as well. So really cool to get all this each and every night. And as we're 35 games left in the year, I'm going to enjoy every single one of these nights, no matter how the game goes with you all. So thank you all so much. I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone go get some sleep. All right. I'm going to try to go get some myself after I get this uploaded. I'll see you all tomorrow night. Go Red Legs. Let's talk about another win tomorrow, shall we?